One. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another AI conversation. Today we're talking to Menchi of FWDP and more. Welcome to the show, Menchi.
Thank you so much po. Very happy to be here with you, Doc Ligot, and in your podcast. Thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah. No, thank you for agreeing. No? So let's just dive into it. No, so I saw your announcement on LinkedIn. Congratulations
Opo.
on basically moving into the real world na ba? Yun na ba yung
Yes
So
po.
maybe can you tell us a bit about your journey so far, no? Both as a graduate and also yung
Mm-mm.
community work mo, no? How did you get started with that?
Right. So, the very start sa tech journey ko is um, literally college first year. Kasi usually, di ba pag getting into tech, you're expected to have coding knowledge na nung senior high pa. So ako, I was from STEM, so absolutely zero knowledge. And buti naman at nakayanan kong makasabay sa first year and also thankful to our several good teachers na mas madali yung transition ko towards coding. And purely academics from first to third year. And then, starting mid-year, before mag fourth year, yung kabisihan talaga ng academe. Doon din ako nag-start mag-join sa mga communities. So, there's FWDP, and I also found my way through DevCon Legazpi, and then also sa One Quantum PH and many others. So, yun, from being a strict student na puro ACADS lang, subjects, assignments, projects, outputs, I dived doon sa mga communities to explore sa real world. So, as a fresh grad, parang hindi ko siya maituturing masyado na first view ko sa real world since joining the communities even before graduation, meron akong konting idea.
Do you recommend communities as a path for students, for example, no? And what made you decide to do that? Ni naman yan mandatory, diba? So,
Yeah.
what was your thought process, John?
Um, so I would recommend na students to join communities even before graduation to also yun nga have an idea how the real world works even before graduation kasi having a view kung anong mangyayari outside academe when you're still in academe is very helpful kasi mape-prepare mo yung sarili mo, especially what you need when you're about to transition in graduation. I actually regret na late ako nag-start mag-join ng communities kasi fourth year na ako nun. So, busy times. Um, ando na yung capstone, so hindi ko na ma-focus yung communities. But siguro if I started even before fourth year, siguro mga second year to third year, it would have been the best time to learn what the communities do and then kung anong nangyayari sa mga uh, corporate agenda and absorb that knowledge and then input that into my academic experience. So, kung may mga choices kasi sa academe na ikaw pipili ng projects mo and since nasa community ka, maririnig mo na ganitong projects yung ginawa nila and then you would have that idea to also implement that project as your output sa school. Ganun sana. Although there's a really big disconnect kasi sa curriculum and sa um, industry right now. So, yeah, I would totally recommend na sumali sa mga communities.
So wait, what was your bachelor's degree?
My degree is in IT. So, walang
IT.
major.
Oo.
Yeah.
So sige, kasi I wanna zoom in on that thing you said sa dulo na there's a gap, no, between
Mm-mm.
tinuturo sa school tsaka real life. What would be like maybe the top three na you felt were gaps in terms of what was being taught? and mukhang yung kailangan mong gawin outside?
Top three gaps. Um, Masyado kasi kaming, what I felt sa curriculum na naranasan ko is, masyado kaming focused sa basics. So, first year, we were taught about the basics ng C. And then second year, taught about the basics ng Java. Third year, taught about the basics ng PHP. And then taught about the basics of everything else. Ngayon, medyo nakakawindang kasi coming sa capstone, you would need to know more than the basics. So, pero it's a mix of different languages, scripting and programming languages as well. Helpful, pero kulang. So, um, the first would be integration ng different languages. That's the first gap. And then the second one, that would be the interaction as an individual to your team. Kasi usually, your projects would be individual and then we lacked kung paano namin i-manage if we were to delegate some tasks, if we were to collaborate on a big project and we had roles na similar sa mga roles na ginaganap din in the real industry.
How did you pick
Third,
that up, no? Meron bang ano? Sorry, singit ko lang doon, no? Yung the
sige po.
individual to the group, was there also, sabi mo wala masyadong training on that. So
Yeah.
how would you recommend others learn that part, no, before you go to number three?
Hmm. Um, Um, Siguro it's important to communicate what you can do and what you expect also others to do. Kasi medyo konti lang yung group work namin sa academe and kaya nga siya naging gap. So this one particular group work na naranasan ko is that I expected na parang um, as voted as leader kasi hindi naman siya parang voluntary na gusto ko mag-lead. So I was voted on to lead and I sort of expected myself to be one of the people with the best technical knowledge on that particular project. But of course, I was not and doon ko na realize na um, as leaders, hindi naman palagi na kayo yung may top knowledge about a technical thing. You just need to manage the collaboration in your group. So, I would say I think even if student outputs were individual, you can go on ahead and talk with your co-students, your classmates, your batchmates, kahit hindi the same course. For example, IT and then ComSci, it's still a bit related. So, you can talk with them and kamustahin kung anong ganap sa kanila, paano nila ginawa to, or also share what you've done. That's also one thing that communities solve kasi sa communities merong mga nag-open na I'm doing this project and if anyone would like to collaborate, I'm open to collaborators. So ayun, if not joining communities, the second solution might be um, approach your fellow classmates and talk about your projects.
Kumbaga, even if you had individual projects, you get to collaborate, no, and swap ideas. Okay.
Right.
Gusto kong balikan yan, pero sige, you had a number three na gap na you wanted to mention earlier.
Right. Number three gap, aside from the integration ng languages, you also had to um, learn about the high-level framework. So, andyan na si React, si Django, Angular, and especially yung mga full stack like Mern. So, hindi kasi sa amin masyadong naituro yung about dyan. There were only introductions that this particular framework exists. This is the pros, this is the cons, but we were not hands-on sa pag-create ng projects using them. So, that's definitely a lack.
Isn't MERN just a more modern LAMP? Di ba nag-PHP, di ba? Was that the
Yeah.
framework or not really?
Not sure. I think they have different ano kasi since yung LAMP is Linux and then yung curriculum namin is not really exploring on the Linux side.
Okay. So Windows ang gamit
Right.
primarily. Okay, okay, got it. So WAMP, hindi LAMP. Sige, wait. Balikan ko yung sinabi mo earlier. Kasi I didn't come from a software development background, no, as you know. I learned that on my own, on the job, pati software engineering. Pero if I want to ask you this as a person who's outside the IT academic sphere, many of the tools that yung mga supporting tools that we learn to use, kunyari,
Mhm.
GitHub, di ba? Or
Right.
yung mga methodologies like DevOps or Scrum
Right.
are inherently technically for collaboration, di ba? So does that mean would it have helped if itinuro yon? I don't know kung tinuro eh. Kung if itinuro yon in school to force the issue na kasi the main reason you would use those is kung marami kayong mga devs, no? Kasi kung mag-isa ka lang,
Right.
I mean, you can GitHub if you want to, pero doing all these pull requests and, merging usually becomes far more parang useful if there's at least two or
Yeah.
three of you, di ba? And then you're working on the same code base para hindi kayo nagpapatungan. What's your perspective on that, no? Would that have helped or was that even tackled during school?
Yeah, methodologies like DevOps, not really, but then GitHub was taught to us, and then it was really helpful kasi before we were taught that mga early years, narinig ko sa mga kaklase ko na they're using Google Drive to download codes and then upload. So, mahirap mag-track kung ano yung mga changes
Yung
nila.
version control mo, paano, di ba?
Right. So, it got really easy nung natutunan namin yung GitHub. So, definitely helpful.
Sige, so let's dive in your community work. So you said it would have been better if you started earlier. Pero you
Right.
certainly are a big part. Kasi whenever I see mga FWDP events, andyan si Menchie. I mean, what was your driving parang number one yung how was it like starting? And then how did you find yourself in a I don't know, for lack of a better term, very very influential position in the group? And then ano yung mga naging good and bad, if ever, experiences working in a community like FWDP?
Mm, um, yeah, focusing on FWDP, I'm I'm not sure if I would call myself influential, but um, I got into podcasting in not really expected way kasi hindi ako bihasa sa mga public speaking. Haven't tried public speaking competitions. Wala akong sariling podcast. But I enjoy talking to people and asking all sorts of questions out of curiosity. And before the podcast task, uh, napunta kasi ako sa FWDP when it was still starting. So parang I got the advantage of seeing what's happening all throughout from the beginning to until now. Um, when founder was planning to make it parang an official community kasi dati parang usapan lang, collaborations, having somewhere to talk. Plinano niyang gawin siyang official and then I was invited to parang be part of the team, parang help FWDP develop into something more. But I declined because kasagsagan din ng fourth year. So, there's a lot of opportunities I declined back then. Nung time na clear up na yung mga responsibilities, natatapos-tapos na yung mga requirements sa academe, I saw doon sa group chat namin na naghahanap sila ng podcaster. So sabi ko, why not me? Para makabawi naman ako siya. I joined that. And For the challenge, we started na mag-podcast. That's monthly. So that's what we call the monthly community day. Um, there were lots of audience demand na parang gawing weekly or di ko sure kung may nag-suggest ng daily but they really loved the parang welcoming atmosphere ng FWDP. So, inisip namin na mag-weekly and then realize din namin na it would be really hard given na maliit pa lang yung managing team namin before. And right now, meron na kaming night shift Wednesdays. So, as one of the main podcasters, parang additional time commitment for me. And then, meron pa akong konting kailangan asikasuhin sa school. So, I told founder na sabi ko, I would stay as a podcaster ng monthly community day, pero hindi ko pa kaya yung night shift Wednesdays. Siguro baka maging active ako after graduation na. And right now, after graduation na, medyo nakakabalik-balik na and I also see myself joining night shift Wednesdays ulit, probably starting August. So, mga later days, baka andun na rin ako sa night shift Wednesdays.
So as a podcaster, di ba, I don't know if you can relate to the expression na it takes time for you to find your actual voice, no? Not voice like literal voice, pero yung bagay yung
Mhm.
messaging mo or yung angle mo. So have you found that voice already while you were doing all of this or medyo nag-a-adapt pa?
I'm not sure sa notion ng voice yet, pero there's a particular podcasting way that I really like other than other video podcasts na nakikita ko in YT, YouTube Reels, mga other social media platforms. And I lean more into this side na parang open, curious, parang even though I know a thing, I have to ask yung ini-interview ko in a beginner manner kasi yun yung audience, mga ganong bagay. So, I lean more onto that.
Were there any special episodes or particular events that stand out to you since the time you started podcasting?
Yeah, I think my podcast with there's an episode where hindi ako nakapag-prepare, so I winged it. But it was one of the best episodes as I've heard from Jen and the audience na. Kasi after the podcast, we kind of stayed sa coding channel, voice channel. And nagkwentuhan pa yung ibang audience without yung guest namin. And parang nagbigay sila ng feedback to me that time and I learned na isa pala to sa pinakamaganda. So parang na-curious ako, confused even, kasi ito yung time na wala akong na-prepare but I winged it. So, I realized na pag mas laid back pala, pag mas natural yung usapan nyo, mas maganda sa podcast episode na yun.
Yeah, it's more authentic, di ba? Kaya nga, although I have a list of questions in mind, I really let the guest right now for you example ikaw no to take it to wherever you want no. And I think at the end of the day, ano yan eh. Well, part of it is educational, part of it is entertainment. You get entertained
Right.
if you can relate to whatever content you're watching. So marami siguro nakarelate sa iyo nung nag-adlib ka na lang and you know was asking all these at saka hindi na siya like a strict interview. It's more of a
Yeah.
conversation. You just talk around. Okay. In terms of your own, sabi mo kanina, hindi na nga halata na you're not into public speaking. Sabi ko, parang hindi halata while you were saying it. Um, how important do you think that is no, for someone working in IT? Kasi that's one of the classic, even in my case, no, one of the classic cliches na yung mga highly technical, analytical people, they tend not to communicate very well. And then you have the opposite side naman, yung mga more humanities, kunyari marketing, who talk very well, pero rarely, uh, pangit ang dating eh, rarely have anything substantial to say. Kumbaga puro ano lang, chika lang. So the good the good combo is you're a blend, no? You have something substantial to say and then you're able to talk about it also. Kasi nga if you have an audience, nakakainis din makinig sa isang tao who can't explain themselves properly, 'di ba? Parang iinis ka for that person even though it was unintentional, no? So how was that in your case, no? How fast did you develop that?
Um, I think I already had the speaking confidence even before podcasting kasi I am often the one presenting sa mga group outputs. So, kapag may sudden presentation na hindi inaasahan, my group mates would push me towards the front to explain what we have done. And then, yun, wala din preparation. But then I was able to explain, clarify, walk the class through the process, and then answer kapag may question yung mga professors. So, that was one of the good things I got from the academe kasi yung mga professors namin, they wanted us to explain what's happening in this particular project. Um, After that, sa podcasting naman, it also was easy to develop somehow. Kasi I watched a lot also of podcasts. So parang I had the idea on how this particular episode would progress, ideas on questions, and then ano yung mga nagte-trending sa social media, follow that, and yeah,
Do you have any
okay.
suggestions, mga favorite podcasts that you follow? Meron ka ba mga ano?
Actually, it was wild because when I say I listen to podcast, wala akong particular podcast na maisip kasi I had this Google podcast na naka-shuffle lang.
Parang
Andun yung,
playlist lang siya kung ano-anong lumalabas.
yeah, pero hindi siya parang isang creator lang. It's like a shuffle of everyone else. So, wala talagang, kasi pag isang creator lang yung parang pinapakinggan mo, you would notice their pattern and then like adapt to it. Pero pag naka-shuffle yung mga podcasts mo, it's just a random um, realization na may mga ganitong sumisikat, may mga ganitong wala masyadong audience engagements, wala masyadong hearts, wala masyadong likes. And then, yung ganitong podcast, ganito kahaba. And then, this particular podcast, hindi masyadong mahaba. And then, you kinda see on your own instead from one creator only.
Do you prefer the podcast na, kumbaga, it's just one person talking? Kasi may mga ganun, di ba? They just give a
Mm.
story or like a mini lecture. Versus the ones na parang ganito, na we have interviews and parang exchanges or anywhere in between na marami pa mga yung mga iba, they go to the effort of really doing some creative edits. May mga sound effects, may music.
Right.
They make it sound like a documentary of some sort, no? Which probably would be fun. I'd love to do that kung may oras, no? But do you have a preference kung ano yung mga gusto mo?
Wala naman. The usual ones I hear are like yung one person podcast, but the discussion has to be really significant para I would stay interested, di ba? Pero when it's two people, parang I am easily more drawn to listen kasi there's a question and then the other one would answer and hindi siya ganun ka-scripted. So, those two are good ones to listen para sa akin.
Okay. This is an obvious question that I've wanted to ask, not just for you, no, but for a lot. So obviously, there's this prevailing, uh, I guess, trope about how technology tends to be very masculine, no, so very oriented to men. And then here you are, graduating IT, a big member of a big pillar of a tech community. So I just have to ask, nung you chose IT and you were going through it, did you ever feel any form of gender bias in the experience? And even now, no, as you look for jobs or you were looking for jobs, did you ever feel yung sinasabi nila na there's a bigger pressure for women to compete in IT or tech?
I haven't felt any of that kind yet. Hopefully not ever. But sa classroom there are some situations na imbes na parang against women, parang since we are rare, parang kulang yung number of females sa classroom. We tend to be
Kumbaga
yung
may konting preference for women just to balance it
oo,
off. Mm.
right. So parang you would need to have at least one girl in your group para ma-allow sa group arrangement nyo.
Mm.
And then on the other side, it's a bit negative for me na parang kapag sinasabing babae in IT, automatically in the design
Parang it's like
specialization.
forced diversity. Can we say that? No? Minsan that's a loaded term eh pag sinabing pinipilit yung diversity. Is that what you're saying? Or a little bit of that?
Somehow, kasi syempre as a girl in IT, you are also exposed to different fields in IT kasi napakarami. There's AI, there's data analytics, there's
Web
software
dev, cyber.
engineering, web
Mm-mm.
dev, cybersecurity. Right. So, um, marami akong naririnig na notion na kapag girl ka in IT, you prosper in design, pero design lang. So, that's not really good to hear. And minsan nga there's a part of me na since girls are forced parang stereotyped into design, parang I would um, intentionally divert from designing. So parang andun ako exploring all the other fields of IT.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing, no? How about how the gender card, call it that, no, has evolved. Certainly, I will acknowledge years ago, especially when I was coming out of school, talagang pag sinabing IT o ComSci, lalaki yan, with a few exceptions. But over the years, and again, I'm not diminishing any movement or initiative to introduce more technology, not just to women, but to all genders, no? Um, I think a lot has actually improved to the point nga na, and I don't know, this is just incidental na we got to this topic. Na sometimes it's a form of reverse discrimination na eh, or parang the term I like, the phrase I like to use is you want to solve one form of exclusion with another exclusion. Parang ganun yung nangyayari,
Right.
no? Do you see any of that, no? And let's move on
Oh
after this.
yeah.
Oh.
Kasi now, currently applying for positions since fresh grad, there are employers who have like check boxes na
Mm,
kapag kasama ka sa women, you check that box and then
tik-
you submit. Yeah,
oo.
so parang na-exclude tuloy yung male population for that role.
Okay, sige. Isang singit before we talaga, well, let's move on. So fine, we have the men and women. What about LGBT? Kasi again, I could be just wrong, no, because hindi ko nakikita lahat. But I find that they're a rarer species, so to speak, in tech, no. I rarely encounter. There are a few. And I'm not saying baka naman yung iba nandiyan, hindi lang din out na may ganong phenomena, no. So do you see that, is there an exclusion to LGBT in technology?
Not that I noticed naman. I think they are still included within the men and women parang uh
Definitions. Hmm.
yeah.
May term nga silang ginagamit eh. Yung othering, you've heard of that? You're in the others. Parang ganun. So if you're being othered, that's an attack. But anyway, let's that's a different episode altogether, no? Let's get back to you. So
Right.
okay, sige, fine. Um uh where do you see, what are your first choices of career ngayon na you're out of the school, or what are your preferences, and then why, no? But you mentioned earlier marami mga fields. Ano yung mga hinahanap mong work?
I'm currently targeting UI design role kasi um which is which is ironic sa sinabi ko kanina. But yeah, um right now kasi design comes very like
Natural for you? Parang ganun.
somehow may background na kasi ako in design but not technically sa tech industry. So I had graphic design, design book covers, design infographics, mga ganong bagay. So, with tech, during school, na-discover ko yung UI design and that's where tech and design align. So, something na I had background in, something I learned at school, merged. So, yun yung pinipili ko ngayon. But there's also this, kapag naghahanap ako ng job, I get a lot of comments na mag-dev ka na. Ituloy mo na mag-dev ka na. Like, diretso na ako software engineering,
Wait. Can you explain
web.
that? So you're saying you want a UI job, and people are saying don't stop at UI, become a I don't know, front-end developer.
Yeah,
Bakit ba?
right.
When you say UI, hindi ba dev job 'yon or not necessarily a dev job?
Not necessarily a dev job. Yun din yung confusion ko nung una. Cause like, kapag nasa UI design ako, like, I am part of the developing team ng isang website, pero sa design part lang. So, yun pala, ang difference ng UI design and then front-end dev is si UI design, um, meron kang separate tools to visually arrange a website other than coding. So, sa UI
Ito yung
design,
parang mga Canva and all these
yeah,
other, yeah,
Figma.
Figma. Mm.
So, sa front-end naman, parang you transform that Figma design into the code. Yeah, without the underlying algorithms na pang back-end naman, like the database and all that.
Actually, back in the day, I even up to now, I use PowerPoint for that. Kasi PowerPoint, you can do hyperlinks, di ba, on, boxes and stuff.
Mhm.
I guess dun lumalabas yung edad. Pero you're right eh. Kasi one of the most painful things that I've had to endure is even though you could draw a really mean PowerPoint, hindi pa rin yun a path to the development itself. And then when you learn HTML, CSS for the first time, it feels very crude and clunky. I-move mo lang ng a few pixels yung box, hirap na hirap. Kaya dati, believe it or not, no? Ako kung naabutan mo tong we used to design pages as tables. Talagang table ano siya. So yung rows mo, columns, although invisible, dun mo binablocking. I don't think people do that anymore, no?
Ah,
You can still do it, but people don't do that anymore, no?
right.
Um, kasi may mga CSS, ano na, mga flex boxes na and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I actually learned that pretty late, no? Yung literally CSS libraries. And then later on, I was also looking for merong program dati yung front page. Ano kung naalala mo yun? Microsoft front page.
No,
Oo.
wala pa ako dun.
Oo. And para siyang MS Word or PowerPoint. You draw stuff and then it'll output the HTML. Parang ganun. So sabi ko, wow, this is it.
Wow.
Pero grabe, yung interpreter niya, super pangit. As in, it has a lot more junk code na wala namang ginagawa. I guess it's the
Right,
templating engine di ba? Pag lumabas, medyo mabigat yung website mo sa dami ng mga extra junk code na nandun. So sabi
right.
ko, there's really no choice but to really learn the CSS part,
Manually
manually.
coded.
Oo. And then you notice na, ganun lang pala yun. Ganun. You just move things around. Lalo na pag merong isang pixel na sumabit, nalalaglag yung mga ibang elements sa ilalim. So you have to make sure those boundaries are good. That was painful. I mean, really, really painful. And then ngayon, meron ng mga CSS engines din. Yung SAS. I don't know if you've ever used that. I never
Mhm.
did. I never did. Parang for me, it's still better to do it manually. Pero yun na nga, there's still a gap, no? I'm sure yung mga stuff na finifigma mo, hindi rin yun yung exact na lalabas pag front end na ng developer. Or have you experienced that? Yung somehow narrowing
Depends.
the gap, no?
Mhm.
Sorry. Have you experienced that? And then how do you narrow the gap? Kasi nga design na yung habol mo eh. How do you make sure na yung drawing mo yun din yung i-execute ng front end?
Oh yeah. Kasi it's about having the coding background before deciding. So parang nagde-design ako ng ganitong carousel and I know, parang may imagine ko na kung paano to i-CSS, may imagine ko na kung paano yung arrangement nito sa HTML. Kasi without having that coding background, parang you would design really creative and innovative things. Pero
Pero hindi
parang
kinakaya sa website.
right. So hindi na siya possible ma-implement. So
Meron din dating ano eh, I don't know what you called it. Parang grid maps yata yung tawag or whatever. Where you draw an actual image. Tapos meron siyang layer na inaabangan mo yung click dun sa portions ng image na yon. So it felt like a theoretical solution to what an otherwise kasi hirap na hirap nga yung mga tao drawing these fantastic layouts. Tapos
right.
pagdating sa website napaka-blocky. So sabi nila picture na lang. Tapos I don't know what you call it,
All right.
grid map na lang or something. So and then you have to be very precise. Pero minsan usually dumadaples kasi ngayon responsive layout, yung image di naman nagre-realign eh. So that
Yeah.
was also another painful episode, no. Grabe, no. Okay. So why UI, can you talk a little bit about ano ba yung mga UI ano mo, philosophies mo? And then for other people who might want to pursue a similar career, how did you go about it? What are your mga life hacks pagdating diyan? Mga tools.
Right. So, actually, one thing about UI na palaging pinupunteriya is its user-centeredness. So, before you design anything at all, you have to first know how your users would use it. So, parang, um, before I would open up a software, I actually had to talk to people first kung ano yung mga frustrations nila sa ganitong app. So, then I could design a better app na parang mas gusto nilang gamitin. So, sa yun yung isa sa path na pwede mong tahakin sa UI. So, it's either you start with talking to users and then designing based on their feedback. And then, merong mga designers na they jump onto designing, especially yung mga super creative and innovative designs na hindi sila user backed, parang walang supporting data from the users na they would want the design specifically to be like this. So, pero these designers na nagja-jump into design, I also noticed na sila yung mga legit talagang innovative na meron silang mga mechanisms sa software na hindi mo pa alam unless you do that particular innovation sa design nila. So those are two ways. It's tough
So
kasi
is that does design thinking cover that or is that a separate parang practice? Kasi yung sinabi mong human-centeredness, that's very IDEO, di ba? IDEO, human-centered design philosophy. Pero I know design thinking is parang specific set of parang steps, no? Where you
right.
empathize, you define, and then later you
Yeah.
strategize. So yun din ba yun? Or there's something else pa?
Yeah, it's design thinking then when you prioritize user needs. Kasi when you're design thinking, the first priority is a problem. You have to see a particular problem na masosolve mo into design. So that's design thinking. But without the problem and then nag-design ka na lang ng basta, parang that's different na from design thinking kasi you don't have the supporting details for the design that you made.
Begs the question, no? What are common design mistakes or bad practices, no? I don't know if you can remember any. Para masabi agad natin sa mga people starting out na if you plan to do something like this, don't do it anymore or avoid these typical tropes. Any does anything come to mind mga ganyan, mga bad designs?
All right, yeah. siguro it would be specific to people coming from graphic design and then transitioning to UI design. Sa graphic design kasi, you have less standards, less strict rules to follow. Kasi once yung design mo eye-catching, andun yung lahat ng information, it depicts your product really well, okay na. Pero sa UI design, you have to follow a lot of standards. So when you're starting and you're going to UI design, you have to learn about these standards before you go you go designing hands-on. That's the tip I would give. Standards muna before designing.
Right. Kasi yung iba, talon agad. Or even worse, dev agad. Di ba may ganun? Parang deploy in production ang dating. Ito, design in dev na parang ano nangyayari.
Right.
Which probably happens more often than we'd like to admit. Okay. Sige, we're nearly nearly at the end. Or nearly at the hour rather. Not never it's never the end. um Advice to people starting in IT, no? Male or female, now that you're past the hump.
Yeah,
And
I got the same question nung I got this featured article din sa ano namin, sa college namin. So they asked the same thing. Ano ba yung mga advice ko sa juniors, sa freshmen, sophomores now that I have graduated. So yung first advice ko is learn the basics of coding. Kasi yung tactic ko before is kapag may module na binigay, I really have to read through that. And aside from reading through that, I also recreate the code snippets na andon. So, every time my code snippet, I had to make sure I run it and it does run rather than breaking. Especially kapag yung snippet ay incomplete, parang it's just a part of the code, tapos meron ka pang isisingit na parang imports, and then meron kang export sa hulihan. So, I have to figure that out myself and successfully run that snippet. So, nung ginawa ko yun, mas naging madali sa akin to imagine the full script, the coding file. Tapos, I would hear sa mga ibang classmates ko na they were unable to finish a timed coding output kasi hindi nila alam na yung mga import pa, export pa pala doon. So, knowing that ginawa ko na siya beforehand, mas naging madali sa akin. So, yeah, I think that's
so like
part of,
parang templating, is that what it is? You have a template already na repeatable. It saves you a lot of
mm,
time from doing it from scratch, parang ganun.
medyo, but not really template na doon ako magsa-start sa nagawa ko before. Parang, it's just muscle memory or photographic memory na alam ko meron part before nito and then merong part after nito. So, I would have to include that here as well para mag-work siya.
Parang conventions, no? You've seen this particular structure before,
Right.
etc. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Maybe one last comment about, so you're looking for UI jobs. What about in the, like, what does Menchie of, ito yung mga Miss Universe na tanong eh. What does Menchie of 5 years from now look like? Or even 10 years from now? Well, I must admit, when I graduated, I had no idea what I wanted to become. Basta ang alam ko lang, rough idea ko, if you remember my interview sa inyo, parang by 30, dapat retired na ako. Kapal na mukha, di ba?
Right.
20 plus. And then awa ng Diyos, eto, I'm already in my late 40s, di pa rin. Or maybe it's partly a little bit of both kasi, I kind of do projects na lang. It's not like, backbreaking employment anymore. Um,
Right.
pero ikaw, what's your dream, no, if ever?
Um, Personal image, 5 or 10 years from now, I just see myself na, kasi UST scholar, so I will stay 4 years in the Philippines, working in using the degree that I graduated from. So, tech industry in the next 4 years here in the Philippines, and then I also plan to um, go abroad for masters. So that's additional 2 years. And yeah, in terms
Masters
of
in IT or any other particular field?
um I'm still open to what field. Ay, pero ano, IT related, but major in somewhere. So I'm thinking if that's data ethics, AI, and other tech related fields out there.
Okay yun, no? Certainly AI, syempre I'm biased, pero
Right.
um, parang it's like saying you're gonna take a master's in something that doesn't involve the internet. Di ba parang weird? Parang everything's on the internet now. So ganun na
Right.
rin. For me, AI should be that. Not that you plan to do an AI job, pero somehow whatever you study has to have an AI component. And then
Right.
maganda rin yung ethics kasi nga nauuso na naman yung ethics. Notice no that the word ethics never really no one really cared. Pero ngayon na
Yeah.
nagkaka-AI, nauso na rin yung ethics because nga tools can be misused. Actually, UI has ethics, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Mga dark patterns and all that stuff, 'di ba?
Right.
Okay. Okay. So, well, anyway, I wanna thank you, Menchi, for gracing the show. And congratulations again on your achievement. And I look forward to seeing you on FWDP, obviously, and maybe another episode. Siguro bigyan natin ng time pag medyo nakaarangkada yung career. Because now you're still
Right.
looking around. I would love to hear about your exploits, kung ano man yon. And please continue doing what you're doing and inspiring other people, uh, irrespective of gender.
Right.
Inspiring them to get into tech. Kasi kulang talaga yung tech people natin.
Right. Thank you so much po, Doc Legot. I'm very happy na na-invite ako dito sa inyong podcast despite being a fresh grad only, diminishing myself. Definitely would love to do a sequel kapag fast forward in the future.
Yeah, maganda yan. Visioning ang tawag dyan, no? You imagine it manifesting and boom, nandyan na, no? So pagtawanan na lang natin when we do that episode, no? Naalala mo, no?
Right.
Naging ma-manifest ka in the last few minutes. So, ito na.
Kasi
I'm very,
hindi
very
pala
confident.
nangyari.
Oh, I'm very confident it will happen. Okay. See you again soon.
See you again po. Thank you so much.